What's up, guys? Welcome to another Midweek Chat with Jasmin. I'm your host, Jasmin Bryant, your brand visibility coach, helping women over 40 who are coaches, speakers, network marketers, and small business owners get over themselves and get on camera so that when you're visible, you get paid because you don't want to be in business and be broke. It's not cute. Let's not do that, okay? So, today we are talking with Andrea Brunswick. She is a creative life strategist dedicated to empowering women entrepreneurs and professionals over 40 to navigate life's toughest transitions with faith and resilience. She specializes in helping women recover from heartbreak, of loss, whether through death or divorce, and she equips her clients to release their shame, rebuild their confidence, and create fulfilling relationships and careers. And I just think you are a perfect fit for this audience, women over 40 who are entrepreneurs. And you don't get over 40 without having some stuff behind you. So, welcome, Andrea.
Thank you, Jasmine. Yeah, that was a mic drop for sure. You don't get to be over 40. I mean, if you have, you are super blessed. But
A
for the majority of
unicorn.
us, yeah, for the majority of us, no. I mean, I had had some stuff before I turned 40, but it was really when I turned 40. And when I had lost my husband, he had passed in his sleep.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
I had just turned 40, he had just turned 41. So you really said it. You hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. And I hate to tell you, ladies, but you get a little bit older. Now I'm a little bit older than my 40s. And, life is going to bring a
Yeah.
whole lot of other challenges in
Yeah.
life and in business.
Yeah, and it's all your experience. And so there's value in that, whether it's taking the, like the pain and the trauma and turning it into something that's profitable and passionate for you, or
Yeah,
just taking the experience of your life and your business to make things grow. So I'm super pumped to chat with you today.
me too.
Thank you. Thank you. Tell me a little bit more about what it is that you do. I mean, I just kind of gave like a little nutshell.
Yeah. So, it's funny because, I love the term creative life strategist, and I really just started using that in 2023. I'm a life coach. I'm a certified life coach, and I always have worked in mindset. And as
Mhm.
I had just said, my husband passed. I had just turned 40. He had turned 41. Our daughter was 5.5, and our son had just turned 10. And it was like my whole
Wow.
life, it was like it just blew up, and I was left no life insurance. We were really we
Oh
were
my
poor
God.
planners. And to be honest, Jasmine, I wouldn't have thought I'd been a widow at 40, maybe divorced. You know, you kind of don't see
Yeah. Yeah.
widowhood in that time of your life. In any case, I felt like, well, who do I want to be now that I am like growing up? Which is something we ask kids, which I find bizarre. Well, what do you want to do when you grow up? Well, if I'm in my 40s and I don't want to know what I want to do when I grow up, how can a 10-year-old know? But anyways,
Yeah.
so I had to take the first year off after my husband passed because honestly, I was a mess and I needed to be really present for my kids. And then I was like, what am I supposed to do with my life? I don't know what I want to do with my life. I had done so many different things, marketed different products, doing straight commission sales, and went to art college and wasted 4 years, but had a great time. And prior to that, I thought I wanted to be a social worker. In any case, truly, God spoke to me and said, I want you to become a life coach. And it was at the beginning of, where I'm going back to 2004. Yeah, I'm dating myself a bit. No, it was the infancy stages of the coaching industry. And, so I started to
Mhm.
get certified, and people would say, so what do you do, Andrea? And I'd be like, well, I'm a life coach. And then they would look at me like a deer in the headlight.
Yeah.
And I would do my really best to explain what a coach does, how we're really there to support us. I'm here to support the women that I work with in their mindset challenges, blah, 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 blah. They still weren't getting it. Anyways, so the term life coach, I know I long-winded answer to your short question. I apologize. Um,
No, you're good.
so that term life coach, I don't know. It just never really tasted good in my mouth. But then when I heard Creative Life Strategist, I was like, yes, because truly my role is to work with you in giving you strategies in order to either manage your trauma, get from where you are from point A to point C, and to get you from there. Or maybe you're
Mhm.
coming to me, you're at point C and you want to go to F. I'm gonna work with
Mhm.
you to get you there. And at the end of the day, Jasmin, you know, um, you said it in the beginning. A lot of us have had some really serious trauma and serious heartbreak and experience, and we do our best to kind of, compartmentalize and put things aside, but that doesn't always happen. And in this land of entrepreneurship, which was something that I always saw myself as a coach, but for some reason, that whole term business owner and having a business, I don't know, it was like it eluded me. And then again in
Yeah.
2004, 2005, the whole personal brand was such a big term. Like, it was like the new buzzword. Right. And I remember when I was
Mhm.
working with, maybe she was my second coach that I was working with, and she said, so, okay, so what about your brand? And honest to God, I was like, what do you mean? Like, what's a brand? I don't understand what you're asking me. Like, what do you want from me? I'm not getting this. And honestly, it's been challenging for myself. I can coach, absolutely no problem. My skills as a coach, honestly, not to brag, but I'm a really excellent coach.
Brag.
But
Totally
but
brag.
as a business owner and the pieces, because listen, the business, it's like a car. You've got like four wheels, and you have to have all of the parts moving together in synchronicity with one another.
Mhm.
And that hasn't always been my experience. It's been a lot of valley
Yeah.
moments, a lot of really like, oh, this is scary. I don't know if I really like this. I think I need to take some time off. Maybe I need to re-niche. Um, so yeah, it's been a journey for me. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah. You did. And I mean, it's hard, right? Because as a coach, a lot of times, and I think this is true for a lot of women who are watching, as a coach, you're not necessarily thinking I'm a business owner. Like, no, I'm a coach. And so, there is a gap, and you know,
Exactly.
there's a gap there
Once
for a
the
lot of
industry
us.
itself, because listen, I came into this industry in 2004. There was no social media. Okay, there was that whole MySpace, but
Yeah.
I really wasn't doing computers back then.
Hmm.
But in terms of having to have an online presence, the most of an online presence for a coach was to have a WordPress website built for your business back then. And then,
And LinkedIn, I think too.
yeah. So once, Facebook really came on the scene and it opened up to online, then I really saw the shift within the coaching industry. It's not a mandated industry, so anybody and everybody can
Yeah.
say, hey, I'm a coach. Is that good? Is that bad? Maybe a little bit indifferent. I think we really need to interview a coach. I want the women to know that you have the right to interview your coach.
Yeah.
Okay. You have the right to ask them questions. And
Hmm.
especially if you're going to work with somebody as a business coach. I know myself. I know how much money it was like I took it and I flushed it down the toilet because I
Yeah.
didn't ask the right questions.
We've all
Because I
been
didn't,
there.
right? Because when you don't know, this is honestly, I live with this and I lead with this. When you don't know what you don't know, you just don't know, right?
Hmm.
So that you have to give yourself grace. You just
Yeah.
don't know something. But then when you know better, you are required to show up and to do better.
Yeah.
So now I know better. So if I was to need to hire a VA or a business coach, a marketing coach, a branding coach, whatever it may be, now I feel okay about, oh, I can ask them questions. Oh, I don't have to just take what their
Yeah.
copy says, what their content is saying, because back in the day, most of them would hire a really good copywriter,
Yeah.
right? Now we can have ChatGPT. As my ChatGPT, I was working with it the other day, and it's like, yes, Andrea, that is going to be a really powerful program that you're offering. And I'm like, oh, thanks, ChatGPT.
Look at
So yeah,
ChatGPT gassing you up. I love it.
honestly, it's an ever evolving, but yes, back
Yeah.
to as a coach, maybe I don't know if business coaches see themselves differently because they already have the term business in front of them, but
Yeah.
life coaches and mindset coaches, and I'll
Hmm.
only speak for myself, I don't want to speak for any other coach out there. No, I said it, I'll say it again. I didn't see myself as a business owner, which I
Hmm.
think that itself presented some issues to me. But that's okay. That was my
Yeah.
journey to have to go through. It better
Hmm.
equips me as that coach to work with that woman because, listen, we're all needing to reinvent
Yeah.
ourselves at a certain point in time. I had to
Yeah.
start my reinvention, just at that tender age of 40. And then I'll
Yeah.
tell you something, I needed to reinvent again at 50, and now I'm 62. And the reinvention is continuing because as I continue, hopefully, to evolve
Hmm.
as a woman, as a mother, as a coach, creative life strategist, um, yeah, the reinventing I think a continuum.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we always pivot, we always evolve. I mean, that's the history of life, to evolve and to change. Like that is the constant, is change.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about the reinvention, though, like what do you see as like the biggest mistake that women make when they're trying to reinvent themselves
Mhm.
or move on from their heartbreak or their loss or the trauma that they've experienced?
So a couple of things. One is we hold on to that trauma. We say we want to let it go. And it is hard to let it go. And I think when we're not working with somebody to help us let things go, and we're wanting to do
Mhm.
everything on our own. So I saw this somewhere. I don't remember. This is not mine. I just want people to know this is not an Andrea Brunswick own original. So this comes from somewhere. I can't remember the source. But it's like if your hands
Mhm.
are full, it cannot take something new in. So if you're holding on
Mm.
in those hands to your old, there's no space for the new. That's number one. So we have to close those wounds. Our soul is wounded. We have these gaps. Okay.
Mhm.
And then comes in the second piece to this is we go through what I call comparitonitis. We sit there and we compare ourselves.
Yeah.
And, I did hear this many years ago. If you've ever heard of the author T. Harv Eker and the Millionaire
Mhm.
Mind Intensive.
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm so bad with names, it's horrible.
No, that's okay.
I'd forget my own if it weren't written right
You're
there on
so
the
funny.
screen.
I know. I feel like my mother sometimes used to call myself and my siblings the different names. Anyways, I went to his, it
Oh,
was a
yeah.
very intensive 4-day thing. And the very first day, they said,
Mhm.
how I do one thing is how I do everything. And I was like, light bulb,
Yes.
boom. It was like a football field
Mhm.
of lights in my brain. Yes. And I started and I looked at that within myself, and I always share that with women, and if I'm on a podcast or whatever I'm doing, I share that because it's so true. So I had to take a look at that. Geez, Andrea, how you do one thing is how you do everything, because I experienced really terrible comparisonitis starting probably 2012. Facebook was booming with new coaches, and I had already been
Mhm.
coaching for a considerable amount of time at this point.
Yeah.
And I was looking at their branding and their marketing, and they were all talking about how they had a 5-figure month or a 6-figure month. But they're these brand new, and I was like, what? How's that possible? Like, what do you, and then I started to compare myself. Well, my branding's not like theirs, or my marketing's not like theirs. And what happened is I kept digging holes for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now I'm really feeling like crap about who I am as a business owner, how I show up online. So what was I doing? I was putting blocks in front of myself. Instead of removing blocks, I was creating more blocks. So then with
Yeah.
that expression, how I do one thing is how I do everything, I needed to take that look. And I don't like to look back, but I do believe hindsight is 2020. And if we use it in a productive way, it will serve us. But if we use it in a counterproductive way, you're gonna bury yourself. So I used it in a
Yeah.
way. I started to see cheese. I remember comparing my husband in the first few years of our relationship to other friends' husbands.
Mm-hmm.
So it started there. Then as a mother, I compared myself to the things and how I was as a mom to other people and other mothers. When, of course, so now that issue that Andrea had, now it just came into my business. So
Yeah.
now as the coach, I'm doing the same thing. As the business owner, I'm doing the same thing. So we
Mm-hmm.
really need to heal. We need to work on our trauma and heal your trauma, because it will pop up and it will become a huge obstacle, and it will block you from your blessings, the blessings that God has for you. And then you need to take a look and not compare. And that's why sometimes, it's funny, business coaches all the time, or if you're doing a business plan program, they always talk about market research. Do your market
Mm-hmm.
research.
Oh
Do your
yeah.
market research, right? I don't necessarily fully agree with market research. I think it really depends on the mindset, again,
Mm-hmm.
of that individual, because just that simple act of doing the market research could now open Pandora's box.
Of more
Pandora's box.
comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you said something, I mean, you said a lot of things that were really key, but one thing that I really want people to pay attention to, especially if they're, newer in business or even not so new in business, and they're like, I'm afraid to show up on
Oh.
camera. I'm afraid to put myself out there. I'm afraid to, I'm hiding behind my logo and all of that.
Mm.
And like, I'm not making any money. And they're afraid because they're comparing themselves to those, 5, 6, 7-figure month people who
Yes.
are blasting everything, or they don't feel like they look the way that they should, or they don't sound the way that they should, or they don't have the right equipment, they don't have this, they don't have that. I want you guys to really listen to what Andrea said and rewind this if you have to go back 3 minutes, right? And hear it again. It's like, you are who you are and they are who they are. And so don't let what you think these other people are doing steal from you.
Yes.
You have to, and that's part of the trauma, is the comparison, the imposter syndrome, all those different things. I don't know. I want you guys to pay attention. That's what I want, and just do it.
Honestly, Jasmine, yes, absolutely. Because you know what? It's really funny. I had spent many years doing MLM because I really love the concept of multi-level marketing. It made so much sense to me. But when you do multi-level marketing, it
Mm-hmm.
pushes you. It starts to bring up stuff within yourself you didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
You had buried it so deep within yourself that not inauthenticity, your low self-worth, your whatever, right? That
Yeah.
it now starts to surface and you want to just push it away. It's like, that junk drawer or that broom closet where you shove everything, you want to just shove it in
Mm-hmm.
there because we think we can be in a land of denial. And if we
Yeah.
just are in denial, it's not going to exist. It doesn't exist. But guess what? It does. And it's the same thing for us coaches. How do you show up when you feel like you just can't? And I get that. I so get that. So I've learned, I'm just going to share what I've learned along my journey.
Yeah.
So, I'm the type of woman that when I'm in a conversation with somebody and they're expressing something about themselves, I take you at face value.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have this mindset of you can't trust people. People are liars. Now, okay. But that didn't serve me in the online space because for the most part, they're liars. Just putting it out there. And I say that honestly. I say that in a really loving jet. Why do I use the word lie? Because they're really showing you their highlight stuff. It's gotten much better. I will say that when the world went mad in 2020, it kind of changed things within the social media world. Because prior to 2020, everything was highlight reels.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, you don't want to vomit on your audience. No, please.
Right.
Don't show up crying on your videos. You can
there's a fine line between like using your story and using your pain and your trauma to further
right. But if you are so much in trauma, right. If you're so much in that trauma, don't heal that and then come and talk about it. Because I did see a lot of coaches coming on and they'd be in their car and they'd be crying. No. So there really is that fine line. How do we do it? You definitely have to heal. You definitely have to. Listen, it's anything, Jasmin. We need to get comfortable. 2015, that app Periscope, because Facebook really hadn't really been doing Facebook Lives yet. So, and I hadn't really built any community on Facebook. But so I wanted to do Periscopes because I was watching other people in Facebook groups that I belonged. And I thought, I need to do this. I knew I needed to do this. I raised my hand to having an online business. Well, if I've raised my hand, I have to do things. They're uncomfortable. Oh my God, they're so uncomfortable. Now I can talk and I like to be in a conversation like how we're doing the back and forth.
Yeah.
But to go in front of a camera, knowing that there's nobody watching made me feel super uncomfortable. So what I did, my kids were much younger back then. I got all my daughter's stuffed animals and I put them on the love seat in the living room like they were my audience. And I pretended that was who I was doing my Periscopes. Yeah. And I've had to also listen, well, I don't like my teeth. Or now it's like, yeah, you're looking a little bit old, Andrew. You're not in your 40s anymore. You're not even in your 50s. We have to become more comfortable. I don't look in the camera and I don't really, and I never have. I don't go back and watch stuff of myself. Everybody says, oh, I love your voice. You got this great voice. I'm like, honestly, I hate my voice. So we're always going to look. Yeah, we're always going to look to nitpick at ourselves. So you don't have to look in the camera. Just get out there. And then I know my kids went through a lot. They had a lot of trauma. And there was a point in my coaching business, my son went into a very deep depression. And my daughter, a couple years into his depression, was hit by a car crossing the street.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And now it was triggering my own trauma. But what it did was in the house between my son and my daughter, who had always had, honestly, such a beautiful relationship, the chaos, the mayhem. So what I did, which I wouldn't recommend to somebody, I would give them different advice. But I thought, who are you, Andrea, to coach another woman? I took a big break from my business, which was wrong because I didn't know how to show up. Yeah. I can talk about that now. And maybe I did need to take that step back because in all honesty, Jasmin, I just kept feeling like I was being swallowed from this. So maybe it was, but what it did was I had stuff. I was going through stuff that now I had to I had a number of clients that I was working with that had been working with me. So I finished working with them. And I had to take some
Mm-hmm.
time before I went to even think about bringing on new clients. So heal. I
Wow.
cannot stress that enough. Don't go through it alone because you're only going to delay
Mm-hmm.
your process. And guess what? Things are uncomfortable. New things, I don't care what it is. Look, I get started before you started recording. I was like, oh my God, this whole restream. And I had to put this in. Because things are uncomfortable. I don't want to
But
go
you
on camp.
survived.
Yeah, I don't want to go on Canva. Don't give me a template. I don't like it. I don't
Yeah.
like it. So if there's things that you, the entrepreneur, needs to do for your business that are going to stress you out, are going to be an energy zapper, outsource.
Mm-hmm.
Outsource. Go to Fiverr, get a VA, have somebody work with you. You have to ask because
Yeah.
people are not going to offer. You need to use your voice that God blessed you
Mm-hmm.
with, and you need to ask for what it is you need. Now, here's another problem though. Sometimes we don't know what it is we need. And
Right.
that's really where working with a really good coach, because
Mm-hmm.
it's my job. I'm the coach here with you today. It's my job for my ear to hear what's not being said and to see what isn't being spoken about, and to
Yeah.
know to ask you, my client, really good questions so that I can help you to draw out that information that you're keeping locked. It's like you've clenched your teeth together and you don't want to open your mouth, but you
Yeah.
need to open your mouth, open your heart, open
Yeah.
your mouth.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's funny because this has been a theme for the past couple of weeks. If there's something that isn't serving you, something you don't want to do, something you don't know how to do, something you just hate, you need to ask for help and find someone who can do that particular job for you to take it off your plate. Like I had a guest who said the exact same thing, and I just recorded a video saying that exact same thing, and here you
Right.
are saying that exact same thing. Like there, it doesn't serve your mental health, it doesn't serve your
Not at
business
all.
health to do things that you don't like because you're not going to do them. you know?
Exactly. And you will ease into it. I know for me,
Yeah.
certain things I need to be shown. So you can't tell
Mhm.
me. You need to tell me
Yeah.
as you're showing me, and then kind of like work alongside of me. And then I'm okay. Because we all have a different learning style. And
Yes.
sometimes we're not sure what our learning style is. And that tends to block us when we don't know what that is. But it's
Yeah.
okay. Trust me. You're going to see other people, your competitors, your competition in
Mhm.
whatever industry you're in, and you're going to think, wow, but they didn't just get there today.
No.
And I
No.
want to say this to the MLMs, those that, are the $1 million leaders in the industry.
Mhm.
Most likely it's their network. Most
Yeah.
likely because I've experienced this in two really good MLM companies. Yeah, it was their husband's network of people that they were able to bring
Yeah.
in into their business, because the average
Yeah.
person in multi-level marketing is just like yourself, and we all start at the
Mhm.
beginning, and you need
Oh,
to
yeah.
support one another. You need to support
Mhm.
one another, and if you're not getting the help, reach across, reach up, reach down, reach across, but reach out.
Yeah. Well, that is a great place to end. We are out of time. I do want to ask you about the gift that you have for the audience. I put the link
Oh,
in
fantastic.
the
Yes,
chat
thank you,
here.
thank you.
So yeah, so tell us a little
Okay.
bit about it.
Okay, so I'm of service. That's my job. I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve a much higher power than myself, and that is God. And I do a reinvention breakthrough call. It's not a discovery call. It's not how you can work with Andrea. This is about the
Mhm.
individual woman it's a 30-minute call. A lot can get done in 30 minutes. You bring your issue, and we're going to get you the breakthrough. And I'm going to give you some steps that you can follow and implement to move you forward. And then there's the Stamp It on Your Heart, which I'm so proud of, because that was, creating an ebook. That was something even though I've done them in the past, this was a new one from a new space on whom I am. So for anybody that reads the Bible, and I'm very new to it and new to scripture, understanding that it's the word of the Father is like a seed, and we have to meditate on it so that it cracks. The Stamp It on Your Heart prayer journal is a really creative way to have that happen for you. And you take a scripture. I've put in, I think, 9 or 10 of my own personal ones, and you meditate on it. And then you have that scripture actually speak to you.
Right.
And then within the page, you're going to have like your thought bubbles. Well, what does that scripture mean? What's it saying to me? And this is the way where it deepens within you and it moves you further ahead. And
Okay.
I'm so excited for it. And I'm excited to see how it helps that woman in their life and in their movement. And listen, you want a breakthrough? Book a call with me, because we're going to get you a breakthrough.
I love it. And you guys, if you're watching, when you're watching the replay, watching it live, the link, the link is in there for Andrea's calendar. There's also a link in there for the Stamp It on Your Heart, right? Did I get that
Yes.
right? Okay. So, click those links and connect with Andrea and have your breakthrough and, work through and heal what you need to heal so that your business can thrive, your life can thrive, and you can just be a happier person all the way around. Before I let you all go, I just want to remind you about the Creator Blitz that's happening. My gosh, next month. I am freaking out. I'm going to say I am freaking out. But I'm so excited because it's, a 3-day luxury content creation conference, and you'll walk out of there with like stuff. You're not going to just have, write notes. Like, you're going to walk out with up to a year's worth of content, some of it professionally shot. You'll have mini branding photo shoots. We were talking about branding earlier. All right. You'll have your mini branding photo shoots, mentors all weekend to help you with strategy, branding, business focus, AI, speaking engagements, getting booked on stages and booked on TV. I mean, monetizing podcasts. There's so much value that you're getting with this event. And so it's 3 days in Atlanta, April 11th, 12th, and 13th. The link is in the comments. There's a QR code here because I got fancy a couple of months ago and learned how to do QR codes. Go me. So you'll get a lot. There's a lot happening. So I hope you guys get to click the link and come to the event. It's very limited amount of people that are invited to attend because I want everyone to like really get the hands-on mentoring and get the professional photo shoots and video shoots and all of that. And you're not going to get that with hundreds of people in the room. So we're just going to have 30 max. So it is an intimate weekend at a 4-star hotel in Atlanta. And the hotel is on me. So,
Wow.
right?
Honestly, Jasmin.
Yeah, it's a great program. I'm super excited for it. So,
It sounds fantastic.
well, you should come. Everyone
Well,
should
I'm
come.
going to look into it. Never you mind.
Yeah, no, please do. Please do.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I guess see you guys next week. I'll see you Friday for the Friday Live with Jasmin and Andrea Brunswick. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for being
Jasmin.
with
This was
us.
great. This was
It
so good.
was. It
Yeah.
was. Thank you. And guys, check out the links in the comments and leave your questions. If you're watching this on Facebook, I don't get notifications because Meta sucks. But I'm able to go and check. So if you have a question or a comment, leave it there and we will get that answered for you. So have a great Wednesday, everyone, and we'll see you later.